All right, in this episode, we're going to talk about how we go ahead and change the fluid in the hydraulic leveling system that fifth wheelers have. And usually the time you need to change that is when you can start to hear it popping and make a noise when you go to put the levels down. They try to level out, they'll pop for a while and then stop. And or sometimes during the evening, in the morning, you hear them popping. And eventually, if you've been sitting for a while, you'll notice you're getting out of level. That means the hydraulics aren't working the way they should. So what's happening is, because of just hot and cold and just use going in and out of the tubes for the hydraulics, lifting and all that, the viscosity and the part of the hydraulic fluid that makes it all work breaks down and it becomes ineffective. So you got to add more to it. They say not to replace a whole tank, just take a couple quarts out, put a couple quarts in, because it holds, I think, about 3 or 4 quarts. And we've done that. We did it 2 years ago when the rig was 2 years old, and now we're getting ready to do it again. So it's pretty simple. The things you're going to need that I use is, of course, you're going to need the automatic transmission fluid. It doesn't matter what brand, but you got to make sure it has the Dex/Merc. That's what all the RV techs recommend to use. Don't use it if it doesn't have that. So I have 2 quarts of that. I've got a transfer pump, and I use this one specifically just to do this. I actually have another one if I'm winterizing to use with water. But I've got this one. It's pretty simple. You put a hose on this end, hose on that end, a hose inside the reservoir for hydraulic fluid, and you pump it out to get the hydraulic fluid out. The other thing I use is something to put the hydraulic fluid in. I just get a 1 gallon milk jug, or you can get a couple quarts, whatever you want to do, so you can measure how much comes out. So I'm going to fill it up to about halfway, knowing I got 2 quarts out, and then I put 2 quarts of the new transmission fluid / hydraulic fluid in. So let's go ahead and show you how we do this. All right, the first thing you want to do is think about safety. You want to make sure you got your chock blocks in under your tires before you do anything. So we got the chock blocks in here. We're going to go take these blocks, or additional chocks we have that steady and secure the rig, and then we will go ahead and raise the back hydraulic pads, lower the front, put the truck in, and then we'll be able to start getting all the hydraulic fluid out of the reservoir after we lift up the 2 front. So you want to make sure you got all 6 of the levelers up to fill up that reservoir so you can take out what you need. Again, I'm going to do the other side. All right, one of the things you also want to make sure and do is, if you have a locking mechanism on your fifth wheel hitch pin, make sure and take it out before you start backing your truck in. Now we're going to go ahead and take the cap off. All the fluids come in because we have all the levels up, the pads, and it gets a little messy. Put that in there, and we're going to fill this up 2 quarts. So that's taking half of it out. Now we're going to put 2 quarts back in. Okay, one of the things you want to do is you want to make sure to be very careful you don't get any of this on any type of paint or anything else, or on your hands for too long. So always have yourself a towel available to clean it up. And I'm also going to wash out that pump and have it ready for the next time in 2 years. But that's all it does. So now we're going to add the 2 quarts in. Oh, one thing I got to do is put the cap on here and take this to a auto parts store so they can properly dispose of this. Just don't throw it in your trash can or anything like that. You're not supposed to do that. All right, so I go ahead and get me a nice funnel. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add the fluid back in. 2 new quarts of fluid. It's a lot darker pink than what came out of there, so I'm assuming, being a mechanic myself, just a handyman, that is going to add a lot better, better viscosity to this. That's quart number 1. Alright, what you want to make sure to do is fill it all the way to the fill line, as it says, and then you're ready to recycle or start cycling those 6 hydraulics to start circulating the newer fluid in there to make it work a lot better. So that's how we do it. It's pretty easy. Everything's set. All the hydraulics are down. Everything's cleaned up. And hopefully that helped you out. I know it bugs the heck out of me and Carolyn when that thing crackles and creaks and pops and gets unlevel. So if you like what we do, make sure and hit the subscribe button over here and ring the bell so you'll be notified whenever we have any other videos. And hopefully you like this, and as Carolyn always likes to say, we'll take you there. All right, it's May 3rd here in Sinks Canyon National Park, State Park, above Lander, Wyoming. And the snow's starting to let up a little bit. Probably got another 2 or 3 hours to go. But as you can tell, I don't think I'm getting the Harley out and going for a ride today.